Welcome back, everybody, to the Rebel Nutritionist podcast. Today, I have with me our amazing client, Natalie Castro. She has so graciously agreed to do a little video testimonial. So welcome, Natalie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and share.
Yeah, so happy you're here. So let's talk a little bit. I'm going to kind of let you take the floor, but let's talk a little bit about what prompted you to contact us and what has your journey been like?
So my journey has been wonderful, wonderful and at the same time difficult. And I think that's what you should expect if you're getting ready to do this. What made me look for someone like you was definitely the fact that I have this issue with my stomach. I was told I have IBS, but I've always had issues with my stomach. There's cancers in my families, and I didn't grow up with good examples on nutrition, exercise, anything of the sort. And for one stint in my life, I was able to kind of do exercise program and stuff, and I was at a healthy weight when I was doing the right recipe, right?
Right.
And my family tried to support me then, but as an adult, on my own 2 feet, I was like, I need more resources. I need to educate myself. I need guidance. I need to better myself. And I was curious about my tummy.
Right.
And I looked at so many programs out there, and yours felt like it was curated to me. And that's definitely something I was looking for, something that was for me and my needs, and not a program I was going to follow or an injection or anything of the sort. And I've seen my parents struggle with their weight. I've seen so many people in my family struggle with their weight, with so many diets, even surgeries.
Right.
So for me, I said, no, that's not the path I'm going to go on. I need you and what you can bring to me in my life.
Right. So we had our first conversation, and I have to say, I think you're very aware. When we spoke, you were pretty aware of what you needed, what you wanted. You had done your due diligence and the research, like you mentioned. So let's talk about, because you were really super motivated. And we did some of the testing, right? So what was that experience like, the testing?
Oh my God, it was like looking through your soul. I got answers to things that I didn't even expect to get answers to from that sitting. From gene testing to, that's why I always feel that.
Right.
You always think that you know yourself best, but in reality you don't. And it's like once you get an exam like this and you have your intelligence and your background, your experience, read it to you, explain it to you.
Right.
You're like, wow. One, I got my money's worth. And two,
that's always a good thing.
Yes. And two, I think this is what I needed. This is what I wanted. And now I know.
So you had mentioned, and that's important, right? And then we tailored a program specifically with the nutrition piece. And I want to say it was the whole thing, right? We always say it's about all the pillars, right? It was the nutrition, it was the exercise, it was the mental, emotional. We'll touch on the emotional, mental piece in a second, because I know that was a huge chunk for you as well. But when you say it was difficult, right? And I do say that. And I don't say it's difficult. I guess maybe it's just mincing words. I say it's work.
It's
right?
work. It's
this
homework.
requires work, because it's like anything in your life. If you want to have success at it, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the effort.
100%. I think it's kind of like the excitement of moving. Oh, I have this brand new house. I'm so excited. I'm going to redecorate. And then you're in the middle of all the boxes and you're like, oh my God, does the moving end? What do I have to do to get settled in?
Yes.
And
I love that analogy. That is a great analogy.
Thank you. I've been telling everyone, so now you heard it from me. So I think you have the excitement, you have the goal, you see that beautiful house, and then you still have to pick up some boxes, you have to pack, you have to declutter, you have to unlearn bad habits. You have to commit to the workout. You have to, I read something that really resonated with me. It said, everything is hard.
Right.
Pick your heart. Pick your heart. And when I saw that, I said, well, I'm worth it. So I'm going to pick this hard because it's going to be hard no matter what.
Yes.
And that applies to everything. Finances, marriage, anything.
Everything. 100. I always say choose your heart, right? There's a good meme out there. And look, and we don't have to divulge too much, but you dealt with a lot in your life. You've had a lot of trauma.
Yes.
Right? And the reason I say that, not to expose that, and honestly, we don't have to go into it, but when we have trauma, it gets carried into our tissues, our cells, right? And we hold on to that in different ways, and it reflects in our health.
Yes. So I would say this is a part of your healing journey. And a lot of people talk about a healing journey like psychological and emotional, but your health, your gut, your body is part of your healing journey.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I still to this day, because you're always healing, and I had a therapist tell me it's kind of like having a lasagna or an onion. There's always another layer to pull back.
Yep.
And so I've noticed that my body needs to start feeling much more safe. And it's funny how life will put you in certain situations where it tests you, like, did you learn from this?
Yes.
And I was just recently at a job that was very unhealthy for me. Grateful for everything I learned, but unhealthy. And it was killing me. It was really ruining my health.
Yeah.
And I said, no, this is not what I stand for. These are not my morals and my values. I didn't overcome everything I overcame to be here. Well, I'm still on this journey and committed to me. Because my commitment to myself that goes to the grave with me.
Right.
That goes to the grave with me.
Right.
And so I said, no, this is not how I'm going to live my life. And so with your guys' support too, you're like, let's get a new job. Let's, you were.
I know. I remember saying that to you. I didn't know you were going to actually listen. There you go. I love that. I love that.
And even my stress levels, when you told me my stress levels, I was like, oh my Lord. And I've always struggled with chronic stress.
Right.
And I'm learning to live in a state of calm.
Right. Isn't that a nice place?
Yeah, and I have to kind of tell my body, I'm going on 3 to 5 mile walks every day, and I'm telling my body, you are safe.
Yes.
I took you out of there. You can depend on me. I am here for me. I don't wait for anyone to do it for me. I go here to the nutritionist. I buy my groceries. I take myself to do exercise. I am conscious. I have to be happy with myself. But it's homework. It's packing the boxes, decluttering.
Right. Absolutely. And so is that, so your coach is Michelle. Mm-hmm. So how did, and this is why I always, we talk about the experience here of connecting with not just myself, but the coach. So talk about how has that, because I know the coaching piece has helped you really gain the courage to do what you're doing and the capacity to feel safe, right? In a certain way.
There is no judgment. I think that it's really hard when you're in a place where you're trying to learn. It's kind of like you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, but you don't want to be judged by the smart people in any capacity of life, whether it's work, life, whatever it is. And coming in here, I felt a sense of home. I felt safe. And for me, someone who's dealt with so much trauma, that's not typical.
Right.
And then not only this, it's, I remember Michelle telling me, like, not only focus on your mental health. I was going through the loss of a family member. I was going through the change of starting a new job, going into a new job, all this stuff. And she's like, I remember telling her, like, laundry and eating is too much for me right now. Like, I'm about to break. And she's like, mental health first. I'm here. And I always felt supported. Any questions I had, and I could be raw. I could say, like, well, I don't know this. I didn't learn this. I didn't come from an environment. And she'd always say, but you're on the right track. And she wouldn't let me feel discouraged. She always brought me up with her. So what more do you want? Right.
I mean, and that's, I want people to hear that, because it doesn't matter how many times we say it, right? We say this is a non-judgmental place. We're all about the support. And everybody needs support in a different way, right? Your support is different than someone else's support. But I think that understanding, because people come in and we start talking about all of these things that we want to focus on, right? Whether it's the sleep and it sounds overwhelming.
It can be, like moving to that beautiful whatever dream home it is, but it's homework. It's difficult.
Yes.
It's overwhelming. It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. So what was one of the things that you found most helpful for you? I mean, I know there was a few, but give a couple, but what was really the thing that helped move the needle for you?
Move the needle as in, like, get results, or like...
Yeah, well, get results or whatever you want to call it. I mean...
Honestly, it's the support.
Yeah.
Because it's okay to not know something, and I would be like, I want to go to this restaurant. What do you think I should eat here? Because I didn't even know how to order at a restaurant without it messing up what I was trying to do in my personal life. Learning how to order a la carte and her walking me through it. Or, the holidays came and she's like, take a second and enjoy your family dish.
Right,
like, you know,
right. Enjoy the meal.
But I remember asking for vegetables on the side. I brought my vegetables.
There you go.
But, you know, all these things, or even making a schedule on, like, food planning, because I think we get so lost in, I'm too busy. That, choose your heart again, right? You know, she sat down with me. She's like, let's think about it. Like, okay, what are you going to get Monday through Friday? Let's buy all your groceries. What's your plan? You know? I didn't realize I needed to be handheld to that extent. It's sometimes you have to be like, oh my God, am I really this behind? Like, I feel like a toddler in nutrition. But okay, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think what, you know, part of it is, at least what we hear from other people as well, is that, you know, there's so much information out on the internet that it's overwhelming information. And then you don't know how to apply it to your life. So I always say what we do has to be sustainable and realistic for your life, because what fits in your life is not going to fit in someone else's life.
Yes. So, like, I would tell Michelle, oh, like, me and my partner, we're cooking, da-da-da, and she's like, okay, well, why don't you do this? And he can have whatever, you know, heavier carb he wants, but you get the good carb. And it's like, yeah, let me learn how to rework our lifestyle in my home, you know? All these things, and you know, you inspire the people around you as well, and
absolutely 100%. To that point, you know, one of the things people think when they come in and do a plan or a program, right, is like, oh, well, I'm going to eat so different than my family, right? But that's not the case.
No, it's not, because you're going to the store. In our case, we go to the store together. What protein are you having? Well, I'm going to have this carb. What carb do you want?
Right.
Hey, I didn't see you eat veggies. What can we do to help you get them? You know, because he's different from me. So it's like me also supporting my partner, but the reality is we're on a slow, like, I may be a little bit ahead, but he's right there with me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and it's planning, having, you know, she kind of gave me the script I needed to have in my mind on how to do that.
Yeah.
And so then I got home and I'm like, well, this is my script and I'm going to follow it. This is the grocery store list and this is how we're going to do it. And look, and the reality is, like, you're not going to have time for everything.
Right.
So make a plan for the times you don't have time. Like, Michelle had to teach me this, because it's easy to fall back into old habits.
Yes.
But I'm like, just no, that's not me. I'm done with that. And if I'm going to move forward, I'm going to move forward. I'm not going to take 3 steps forward and then 2 steps back.
Right. Well, but it is normal to do that, right? I don't want people to think, because I often say, right, there is no perfection. It is just the process. And yeah, we get stuck on some of that stuff, and people do sometimes take a step back, but it's okay to take a step back.
And I had to tell myself, like, hey, I can't do the exercise right now because unfortunately at this moment I'm working 60 to 70 hours a week. Who can get the exercise in, right? Let me forgive myself, but understand that I'm still working towards what it needs to happen. So the time I had off, I have 5 hours, let me look for jobs, let me apply. That was still a workout to the right step.
Yes.
That it's your priorities, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's going to change, it's going to fluctuate, and we have to forgive ourselves, we have to be caring to ourselves, and it's kind of like, you have to know how to parent and love yourself. And I think that if you're going to find that on your journey. If you don't know how to parent and love yourself, you will discover that here, and you have the support to do so. But at the same time, it's a relationship with you. Right. So you need to also be your supporter. You're going to have your support system, but what does Natalie need? Natalie needs to sleep. I remember Michelle telling me, Natalie, if your body's not telling you to sleep, please just sleep. Mm-hmm. Like, I wasn't even hungry. She's like, you're skipping meals, but if your body's saying sleep, let's sleep. Because I needed to recover. Yes. And then I woke up and I was like, okay, now what am I going to eat? Let me focus on the nutrition, right? And I would figure it out. And I would tell her, like, I'm struggling. And she never criticized me or made me feel bad for the struggle. She always helped me through it. There's that. She's kind of like a lighthouse in a dark time. Yeah. So she's, you know, it's hard to weather a storm.
It is. It's very hard, right? And you need that beacon of light, and you need a direction, and you know, then you need to know you'll get there. You know, with that guidance, with that support. So how are you feeling now? Because you're some months in. I mean, you've been doing this work for a while.
Yes. So I will say that I feel really good. I know that I haven't I've not yet achieved everything I want to achieve, and that's okay. It's a journey. It's like going to college. Like, it's a 4-year plan, and it's like, okay, it's gonna take me this long to get my degree. But it's patience. It's also understanding, reading my body of what is my body trying to tell me?
Mm-hmm.
How do I improve this week? How do I, it's always a constant improvement. But what I feel is proud. What I feel is I'm breaking chains in my family.
Amazing.
When I have my children, I'll be able to educate them. I'll be able to do family walks. I'll be able to do all these things that I didn't have growing up. I didn't have a foundation. So I'm giving myself a foundation to share with my children. And I'm also just like much more confident in learning.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with learning. I'm a forever student when it comes to my health. And you have to be a forever student in all aspects of life.
Absolutely.
But I've learned so much about myself. And at the end of the day, when I go to sleep at night, I say, I'm doing hard things. Natalie can do really hard things.
You certainly can.
And I think a lot of people would let themselves be defeated, and I choose not to be defeated.
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of have to be determined and you just gotta be committed to you. And when I sit down and I analyze everything I'm doing, like, I have always wanted to eat like this. My partner Dylan, he always tells me, you eat like a YouTuber. I'm like, yes, yes I do. And I'm proud. And it doesn't take more money. It doesn't take anything. It's just like, I can do these things, and it's become what I like.
Right. Well, now it's become your way of life.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's, like when you say, well, I'm committed to myself, I think that is the first step.
Yes.
It is, you have to be committed to you. And I know with a lot of our clients, whether it's women, whether it's men, right? Especially if they've got children already and they're dedicated to their family, they're dedicated to their children, to their husbands, to their parents, to their friends, and they're more dedicated to other people than they are to themselves. And we have to take that mirror and turn it around and say, okay, am I willing to participate in my own journey?
Yes.
And how do I do that? And what do I need to do that? And it's really difficult to do it alone.
Yes.
And so getting someone to help you, just like you say, is, be that beacon of light, be the voice of reason when there's so much misinformation.
Yes.
Because again, right, it is all about your individual, what makes you individual? What is your testing show that makes you unique, that we have to focus on?
Yes.
Because that's where the imbalances are.
Well, and that's where my body needs to heal first. And I tell my body, I speak to my body as if it's an inner child. It's a great tip out there. I really recommend this.
I love that. Yes.
And
so many good tips you're giving us.
Thank you. And I go on my walk and I tell my body, you are safe. I am taking care of you. Tell me what you need for me to help you. And so I do have that parental child aspect with my body. And I'm like, okay, am I having the bowel movements? Am I drinking enough water? Am I this? Did I sleep well? I'm aware. I'm in tune. I'm listening.
Yes.
And my body's communicating to me. And I say, I'm not going to be mad at you for you not being exactly where I want you to be. But I'm going to work with you for us to get there. It's like if you have your child, you're going to watch them grow.
Yeah.
And I've come to understand that I am watching myself grow. And, you don't have to run the 5K by Saturday.
Exactly.
And it's even Olympic athletes, like, haven't you noticed that they always outdo themselves?
Right. Well, absolutely. They do. And they put in the time and the training and the effort, right? And so... it is an effort and a commitment in you, and it's just kudos to you for having the wherewithal to recognize that, and the maturity.
Thank
and
you.
the I want to say foresight, right? Like to just be so present with how you are in your body. And I know, look, and I'm like that, and our coaches are like that. And it's like, this is exactly where we want our clients to be, right? And so where you are is, and then just to continue, because the more you practice these behaviors, and I think you've seen it, you mentioned it, right? It's now become your way of life. Like,
yes.
This is all you know now.
This is all I know. This is all I want my life to be. And also, I feel better. I used to be someone, TMI, but I used to not have bowel movements like every week.
Yeah.
And I become a daily person. And I'm like, I could do that without stool softeners. Right. Oh, look at me. It's an improvement.
Yes.
Just like, being less bloated. I'm still not completely bloat free, but I'm working on it. And I have my stomach issues, so, it is what it is. But I'm healing.
As do so many of our listeners.
True, but I'm learning to heal with you. And so... a step forward is still a step forward. A little win is still a win. and I'm going to cheer myself on. And I do feel better than when I started. I have people telling me, "You look so much better. I don't know. You look like, I don't know what it is. You're glowing. You're I don't know if it's all encompassing, my mind, my body, my emotions." And I also feel like because I'm at this level, I can bounce back from things. It's someone, if you're going through anything hard in your life or traumas and things, when you get to this level of like listening and like parenting yourself, you are unstoppable in a sense. Not that things are not going to affect you, but you
have that momentum.
You have momentum. You're strong. Mm-hmm. You have strength. And also, I tell myself, if I nourish my body, I'll feel better. Yeah. It's like I'm a nice, fancy car, and I have to put good gasoline in the car. There's some cars that only take certain type of gas, right? And it's like, well, I'm like that too now. I upgraded.
You are a fine-tuned machine.
There you go. I'm not a little beater car anymore.
Yes.
And so putting myself on that pedestal and knowing I feel good because I'm on a pedestal and I see improvements and I'm happier and I'm this and I'm going to be even better in 3 months. I'm going to be even better in 6 months.
Well, it goes to the deservingness. And I think there's so many people out there. And I think it's especially women, right? We feel we don't deserve it. And so I think that's a big conversation. I know it was sort of a big conversation with you. Yes. And so that deserving and that commitment, it all speaks to the same thing. And so, it's just a testament to your fortitude.
Thank you.
And your, like I said, your commitment to yourselves. Any last thing that you want to tell our listeners, viewers out there?
I would say, as long as you're moving forward, you're moving forward. Period. I would say don't criticize yourself. Love yourself. Accept yourself where you are. I think a lot of times we don't know how to accept the version of us, but when you grow, there's times I look back and I say, that version of Natalie saves me here, and she got me through this. And I may not need all her skills, but I need some of her skills today. And so every version of you requires love, and archive them, because it's this version of you that's going to take you to the next. And so that's where our love starts, right? We have to look in the mirror and say, I love myself today, whether I'm overweight or whatever. I love myself today. But the version today had the awareness to get me here. What happens there will get you here.
So it's all the stepping stone, right? Yeah. So I say, how do you get across a river, right, that's rushing with water? You got to go on one step at a time, and you've got to make sure you've got your balance when you get to each of those. So it's not like just running across. I mean, I guess you could do it. I don't know. Maybe you'll fall in. But like, you need your bearings at every juncture, because it's change, and change requires that. And so,
yeah.
Great.
So move forward.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. It was so great to have you. Keep up the great work, because you are doing phenomenal. We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. A little excerpt and video from our amazing client, Natalie. And we've got more amazing stories like that. If you want to share your story, let me know. We can get you on and do a little client testimonial as well. As always, like, share, subscribe, send comments. And this is your Rebel Nutritionist signing off. Make it a great day, everybody.